So what's your dating life like? Because I definitely want to, because it should always be so colorful when you talk about your dating life. So how is it now?
And there is no dating life.
No?
Nah, I'm on do not disturb right now.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, but it's not the wrong. Like I said, I'm just want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with dating because dating and relationships are two totally different things. So you can still
Yeah,
date.
I totally understand. But
Yeah,
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a situation for 3 to 6 months and then, we're here and there. I don't have
yeah.
time for that.
You can still, like I said, but dating doesn't have to involve 5 or 6 months. Dating could just be involving you still like hanging, having that companionship, and not have no ties or exclusive ties to anyone. Dating doesn't have to be conducive to that. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah. I mean, once in a while I do go out once in a while, but I mean, it's not,
saying.
I wouldn't consider it dating.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know you just, like I said, just talking about, I guess, okay, let me ask you this, and I'm going to dive into this a little bit because I'm wondering, because I know, like, when we speak on dating and how, because I know how you got around, round and round you go. But, we know how you got around, but I'm wondering, a lot of times when men, when they're notorious for, getting around, especially when you're young and you're more desirable. I mean, you're still handsome now. Don't get me, don't,
Mm-hmm.
because it's still handsome now. But what I'm saying is that when you're younger, you're more out there. You have more access, and you're more desirable then. But then it seems to me a lot of men who never had commitment in mind, and they tend to let the day one woman, put them in the back burner until they're ready to just get out their system, which I hate that term, get out their system. And then when they get older, they may have a little keg around the middle, and they get a little gray, they get older, and they're not as accessible to certain women anymore. So that's when they decide they want to settle down. So I wonder, like, in your perspective, like, as a woman, like, does that make me feel any special where you feel like, oh, well, I'm ready to settle down now. I got it all out my system. I'm no longer, I don't have the desire to do that anymore because I'm older, and and sometimes more sickly, sometimes they need someone to take care of them too. So
Mm-hmm.
they're right there on the sidelines waiting. So I'm like, is that something that I should look forward to?
Um, I wouldn't say look forward to it, but it's not about looking forward to it. I think you're being chosen by a man that's done it all and wants to really be with somebody. And if he chooses you, that means you're the chosen one.
But how come you couldn't do all that stuff with me? Why couldn't I? Why I gotta wait until you get, you would give, do whatever you do with all these other broads, but then you coming back to me when you're older and less desirable. That's my
Oh, you're talking about coming back. Well, no, I'm just talking about like you met somebody, and
yeah.
if you met somebody at this day and time and he's a little older, you know, he's ready for that. He's ready for that. Relationships are strange now. I know you watch social media and all this stuff with these with the it's really ridiculous what's going on out here. These women think men are supposed to take care of them and just
Mm-hmm.
keep them, and they don't do nothing. Like, I mean, what is that about? I don't know where that comes from, because as far as I've known, all the women in our family worked.
Yeah.
Their own. So they was never looking for a man to take care of them. I mean, that mentality is just ludicrous to me. I really don't understand that, because in today's society, we need your check, my check, and we still need another check.
Because that's the most practical thing. We're not in the Cleaver days anymore, where you could be Susie Homemaker or Stepford wife and be content. And even then, okay, I mean, let me untouch on that, Gress, because even with that, you'd be surprised how a lot of these independent women, that have like this ultra feministic views on things, they actually prefer to be more submissive, and they prefer to be with a man who takes on the leadership role, because that's very important. Because just because you're a man doesn't automatically mean that you've earned that title. No, you have to earn. Hey, wait, excuse me one second, Grace. Yeah, I had to, these kids be knocking on my door. They know where I live. They know where the snacks are. So I'm like, so I have to tell them to come back later. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but so they do want that, but a lot of times, a lot of these women who claim to be so independent, they don't need a man, is because I think a lot of them they have that fear instilled in them because when a lot of women allow the man to lead and to lead their household, a lot of the men take advantage of that, and they use their leadership as a form of control. They don't know how to properly um, they don't know how to properly play that role, Russ. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's
They
not a man then.
That's not right, right. So a lot of women, but I think a lot of us, and I do try to, I advise like other women that I had on as guests, saying like, look, I understand you're independent. Nobody's trying to take away from you being, for you being yourself. Like you, of course, you have your own identity, but don't get into the place where you are so independent. Because first of all, if you're looking for marriage, you're looking to settle down with someone. You can't be independent in a marriage. I mean, that doesn't really work too well. I mean, that's not going to end well with you. You can't be independent in a marriage. I mean, in a relationship. I mean, that's just. And I know I'm going to be considered a pick me for saying that. Whatever. But I'm just saying, just realistically, you can't be independent in a marriage, right? But at the same time, I think that there has to be a level of mutual respect between both parties, between both individuals, and that's not happening here, nowadays.
So for women that's independent, what is an independent woman?
Someone. Oh, go ahead.
I know what it is, but I mean, what really is it? If you're independent, you need nothing.
Mm.
No one. But see, here you can't be an independent woman in this world and believe in what you believe in. And there's a man, it's a woman for every man, there's a man for every woman.
You think so?
I believe so, yes.
Mm.
Now, why they're not meeting and becoming one is because everybody has too many options that they think are options and they're really not.
Or certain expectations, because I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of times when you say, I mean, just based on your perspective about, there's someone for everyone, I think a lot of times we kind of conform to what our desires are in a person versus what God has aligned for us, because we always like to add God into this. I mean, and I'm God, and I just love to hear your perspective on this part, Grace. When they be in toxic relationships or relationships that are not in alignment,
Mhm.
they always want to try to stick it out, or they want to find any excuse to stay in that situation, knowing that it's not healthy. But they always want to say, well, what God put together, no man put us under. What God has put together, God didn't put it together.
Well,
That was you. That was your choice.
we need to stop saying God put that together because
You know how they get God this scripture.
if it's toxic, it's not what he put together. If you're here to be my peace, how can it be toxic? Where's my peace? And why would you fight to stay in something that you don't belong in? Fighting for the wrong things.
Can you say that louder for the people in the back? Because I don't know if they able to receive that. Because I don't know, like people.
You're fighting to be in something that's not for you. That's why it's not working. That's why it's toxic. It's not supposed to be. It's
It's not.
something that you want. So here's my thing, and you know how I feel about this all the time. Women that find a good man stay with a good man.
Mm,
Women that's out here searching will never find. You can't find you can't search for what you're not looking for.
ooh. Yeah. One more time, Grace. Say that one more time.
What you're searching for, you can't find because you're not looking for what you're supposed to be looking for. You're looking for the wrong thing. If you're looking for the wrong thing, how are you going to find the right thing?
Mm-mm.
People walk past each other every day, but because he doesn't fit that preference or she doesn't fit that preference, that's not the one for you. So you take the man with all the toxicity and you take the woman with all the toxicity. And this is very toxic.
Oil and water. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, Grace. also you have to understand when you have certain expectations and certain standards, and as you get older, those standards are supposed to evolve with you. They're supposed to grow with you, right? But it's not very realistic to have certain standards if you're not right within yourself. You got to work towards your self healing as well. And you have a lot of people who jump from one relationship to another, thinking they finding something in that person they didn't have before. You stop. First of all, you stop comparing people to your exes. First of all, second of all, once you decide that you're ready to explore the possibility of being with someone, or the possibility of you have to go through that healing journey, that spiritual health, journey.
Heal.
If you don't have, yeah, you don't have that within yourself, you're still broken. You bringing those broken pieces into the next relationship, you're making them bleed.
Mhm. And like I was watching the show, like I said, it's and I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it was crazy for me because there was things in the show where these women wanted what they wanted, but they didn't want to be with a good man because they wanted what they saw. The
Yes.
money, the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. So you're not looking at the person. You're looking at what they could do for you.
Right. And you look at an aesthetic, like you said, the optics of it all, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I mean, that was all good. I mean, I remember like, I don't even know if I even was even impressed by that, because I could see maybe in your 20s, you might have that type of mindset, but you in your 30s and 40s on and above, and you still, you still maintain that type of standard, where you're only focused on the superficial, and you expect to get, you win stupid prizes that way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The older you get, the more your value dies.
Mm. Yeah, and can you elaborate on that, Grace?
And this is especially for women. And I hate to be critical, but you get older, you look great, but you get older, your value goes down, and you're still looking for a man of some stature to have. But you can't have that because there's a bunch of young girls out here that's going to do more than what you are willing to do. Because if
Mm,
you were willing to do it, you would have had it a long time ago. You wouldn't be at this age and this now. And it goes for men too. You wouldn't be at this now trying
mm.
to see what you should have had before.
Okay, and I think I think I have an example of what you're talking about. For example, when you with someone, and there's no shaming at all. This is just an example, right? When you with someone and the husband tells the wife they need to lose weight, they let themselves go, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think, and not to say, I'm not talking about those men that just really just jokes about it, and that, but they're not, they're just really kind of letting you know that you don't get too comfortable, with the weight gain or whatever. And especially now, if that man has to be the one to practice what they preach. Though you got to practice what you preach. You got to be in the gym too. You got to work out too. And if they're willing to work with you on that, and they're not trying to be controlling, they're not trying to be emotionally abusive towards you, but they're saying that you need to, you know, lose some weight because there's some fat people out there.
Yeah, it goes vice versa though. If you have a husband that's a
Right.
gym
Well,
trainer and he comes home every day and he looking at you like, babe, you need to go in there with me.
you're right. And so, but what I'm getting at, Russ, is that you have, women that say, oh, and you look at social media too, and they're like, my husband kept telling me I need to lose weight, they, put me down, and at some point, it affects their health when because you're not being healthy about it, and it's affecting your relationship. And so when the marriage ends and it doesn't work, guess what that woman is doing? They go into the gym. That's when they decide to get right within. And I think that's what you're talking about. That's when they decide to get right and want to lose weight and want to be, a baddie at that time. But how come you couldn't do it then when your husband, why come you want to be right, or keep it right for your husband,
You listen to every other man tell you what to do at work.
yeah, yeah,
He can tell you what to do, but you won't listen to your own man.
yeah, yeah.
He's not telling you, he's asking. He's saying, hey, we could do it together.
Right, exactly. That's the difference. So yeah, so I was just saying, so I think that's I wanted to kind of give an example of what you was referring to.
You know
Like,
how you know why it's like that? Because women go outside every day, and y'all are probably the most attacked people on the planet. Hey baby, hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. So in your mind, everybody is hollering at me, but my husband is unhappy with me. Huh, I still got it.
Mm.
They will sleep with you, but they're not gonna be with you.
It's not going to be the same. Mm-mm.
You know, they will sleep with you, but they ain't gonna be with you. And that's what women have to understand. Stop making these mistakes. Men have to do the same thing. Stop making these mistakes.
And expect the different outcomes. Yeah, So I just want to just kind of, like I said, I want to make that example. Like I said, there's no way that we're not shaming anybody, you know,
Hmm.
but we're just kind of making, trying to make some people aware of how your dynamic and how you let outside forces interfere in what you got going on, that, that could have been more sustainable if you would have just listened to each other and communicate more effectively, instead of just thinking, oh, you just trying to control me, you just trying to, you shaming me, or you just, you ain't got my best interest, and it wasn't, that wasn't true for the beginning.
If he's telling you, if he's not telling you, he's discussing it with you. Let's say discussing.
Discuss exactly. And if it wasn't any validation to what he said, then why did you end up losing the weight after the fact, after he was gone? If it was something that was supposed to do. Because if that was the case, if he left, like, oh, he left me because I let myself go and I didn't lose the weight, then you should have. Why you stay fat then? Why you stay fat after that?
Because she knew she wasn't gonna get nobody else.
Mm.
Oh, she would have got somebody.
Yeah, yeah, but for that moment,
Yeah, but it would have never been real, and it would have never been what she had.